What's happening, everyone? Welcome to 11 minute late start to our Thursday night Airbrush Down in Tricks live feed. Don't know what was happening. I saw you guys there, but it wasn't loading. I saw, who did I say? I saw Gary and Brett on first thing, and then Darren came in, but the feed was not launching for some reason. But we are in now. I shut Facebook off. If anyone's over on Facebook, tell them to come over here, because Facebook's usually only a handful of people that pop in and out. The feed's never stable, so we're not going to sacrifice our YouTube feed for the Facebook feed. So, video looks good on my end. How does the audio sound? Let me know. Raffin, what's happening? Yo, get Slinger, loud and clear. Thank you, Mike Manning, Gary, Mike Cohen, Thrasher, Scotty Boy, Raffin Customs, what you got? Dan Mayer, Big Squatchy. Darren Play. We got a good crew in here tonight. Like, I'm so behind, I haven't even set my focus on the camera yet, so we're going to do that. And I'm going to put the silly phone on silent, so that doesn't bug us. And we're going to get this shindig going. Good, everything's good. Good. All right, let's get out here. See where we need to be. We did have storms roll in here earlier, big thunderstorms, so maybe it messed some things up, or who knows. You know, before you go, we got to thank all our lovely supporters from brands that support our channel, and with the occasional sponsorship or at least a support for some supplies. Fisheye Filter Water, Cratex, FBS, Visionaire, and obviously those are available at Coast Airbrush and Maple Airbrush Supply for in Canada. So thank you for that. And before I go further, the next people to thank is our awesome members. Look at these members, and I added a little feature. So the gold skulls are over a year. We are over a year. Red skulls are 11 months, in between that range. So I want to thank all you guys. This is the actual order of membership, so I did that tonight. Give everyone a little big thank you. Gold Skull crew, amazing. Thank you. And versus supporters, thank you for staying on, and we'll keep going. I still got to come up with some type of a game plan for the anniversary, which just snuck by this summer with all the planning. So, but thank you to all the supporters and sponsors that help keep this thing going. Mike said it's going well. It's going well. All right, let's show you what we have this evening. Oh, that's the wrong reference image. We're not using that one. Key one? Nope, that's that one. Huh. Nope. No, I didn't put that in the right spot then. Oh well. I know when it'll come up. So, this is what we are going to be doing tonight, which is this girl right here. I talked about this last week. I look a little blurry. Huh. Let me see here if I can do a quick focus. Let's see how that is. If that doesn't do it, what does the tinfoil have for precautions? Yep, you got some yellow skulls. Yep, you are sharper on mine. Alright, yeah, it looks sharp on my side. And it's a hair blurry. Oh, weird. There we go. I gotta focus a little better. It's alright. We're not going to see my ugly face pretty soon. So we are going to switch to our top down. This is what I'm going to be working on. Now you're blurry. Well, I'm going to get off screen so it won't even matter. How about that? Yeah, busy day running around, and just had got in here a little last minute and tried to get on a little sooner, but ultimately couldn't do it. But this is the project I'm doing. This might be just a test run because, like I was saying before, I might do this one for SEMA in a bigger, like with a lot more stuff going on. But I figured I don't have anything else planned. I sketched up a few other things. I didn't really love it. So I figured, what the heck? We've been doing some pretty difficult stuff lately. Let's give it another shot and see if we can do something even more difficult. You know, I've been doing less and less of, like, you know, the skulls and fire and stuff like that, but I'm going to get back on that as well. I wanted to do something a little bit more intricate, a little bit more challenging, and plus it'll make for some good videos. So this will be another one where starting from scratch. What I did, and I'd love to do a Photoshop of this. This is actually multiple images. It was a model I found somewhere online years ago. I always loved the finger in the mouth. I love the way it looked. And I did a painting like this before, where I superimposed a real skull onto, you know, like a model's mouth, almost like the Day of the Dead skull makeup, but instead of it being makeup, it's a composite of the two images into a skull. And then I added another one with the finger tattoo, and it just kind of all worked. It was really, really, really cool. I'll show you what I did years ago. If I can get it off here. So this one might be a little big to see, but this I did years ago for SEMA. It was a really cool project. It's a big panel. This is like 24. No, it's like 20 by like 42. Yeah, it's a big boy. But I did the same thing. I forget the model name and did the superimposed it. This was all done with candies and over a cool metallic and 23 karat gold leaf around the edge. So I may do something like this again for SEMA this year, I was thinking. And I figured, I think I did this composite probably like 2 years ago when I was just messing around in Photoshop one day. So, yeah. So what do you guys think? You think it's a worthy project? Think we should do it? I think we could do it. Didn't you do one with the Joker Beetlejuice? Yeah. Oh yeah, I did the Beetlejuice one, which I never fully finished that one. I should finish that one. I think I still got it here. Well, that's not good. I don't know where the Beetlejuice one went. I'm going to have to find that. Yeah, so the Beetlejuice one was very similar. And now I'm worried I lost it. That's alright. So we're going to start this one out from scratch. We'll do our pencil transfer, paper transfer method. And this will be, you know, a paper cut technique, something like that. Get done. So I'm going to take some 1/4" tape. This is a, I think, 10 by 16 panel, roughly. Oh, it's 10 at the top. Oh, I did off-cut it. It's a little off. So I might just square it up a little bit. But this will be good in the frame. So, yeah, 10 by 16. Route 22 total, what's happening? Thank you, thank you. For those who missed it, I did a member shout out to all you awesome members. And the gold, guys, you're over a year. Red, you're between 11 months and a year. I finally figured out how to do the sort so I could really see who the true down and dirty tricks who stay this whole time, and not the true ones, just the long-term ones. And I want to thank everyone. Almost everyone sticks around. We got a few comes and goes, but that's to be expected. So this is a powder coated panel, or E-coat or whatever you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're a powder coat. These are the like. It's basically a polymetal. So it's got like an 1/8 inch black PVC solid core. Whereas if you ask for like a Lumicore, a lot of times it's perforated. It's got the holes in it, like a corrugated look. And I don't know. Right off to double check. Unless I missorted the list. I just pulled it tonight. Oh. You know what? I think you might be like 10 months something. But you are Red Skull, so it was just, yeah. Sorry. I'll get you back on there, Brett. Sorry about that. I appreciate you. Unless I just had the name sort wrong. I literally was doing that at 7:45. That was some of the reason I was late. So I should double check that better next time. Cool. Alright. So we have our panel here. And we have our lady, which is sized to fit in. Alright. And now we're going to do my transfer. Let's take this down. Soft lead pencil. It's the softest one I got here. I don't know which one this is. I know there's a beans and there's a 2B. That 2B will work. I know this is exciting. Thank you. Yeah, this is I've been wanting to do this for years. I actually composited this in Photoshop years ago. And really what it is it's a couple pictures. You put them on their own layers. I should definitely do some Photoshop versions of how to do this because I use it a lot. And take the image. I usually copy the photo image and then lock it so it doesn't, you can't edit it. And that way I have one I can edit so I don't destroy the original one because I have to go back to it. And then I bring a skull image that's in the same position or similar enough position where I can put it on a multiply or overlay layer so you can see through it. And then I basically go to like a free transform and start manipulating it into position. Sometimes it just goes right in. Sometimes you got to use some crazy warping tools and some mesh tools to get things to line up. But you just kind of play around with it and get it to the right position. And then I start erasing things and blending things out that I don't want. Oh, you know, I've always wanted to paint a dolly. Everyone's painted them in the airbrush world. I always meant to. Yeah, that would be sick to do a skull overlay one, too. In years back, I kind of stayed away from the faces and the real skulls, because at the time, LaValle was doing Skulllebrities, which is a series of, skull face celebrities he was doing. And I didn't want him to think I was trying to, like, steal his thunder by doing something similar. So. Right, this should be enough to get my placement. And whenever I do this with the pencil, I always just rub off anything loose and extra. It'll keep the surface a little cleaner. But the ultimate question tonight, people, is because I haven't even mixed up paint yet. It's still to the left of me, to the right of me, churning on my rotisserie rack. I wish I could, wonder if I can see it if I do this. Yeah, the paint's churning away on the rack. Yeah, so just rub off the excess. Put our panel up. Let's get this to where it needs to go. Cool. Now the most important thing here when you do this is draw it in pen. Don't do it in pencil. If you draw it in pen, you'll get crisper lines. I don't think I'm going to offer it as like a project. You know, you could definitely take a screenshot and do it. I don't think I'm going to make it like an official download, because this is going to be more of an original painting that's going to be used for a show. But I may, or once I kind of do it and get it, I'll consider it. I learned this trick from like watching tattoo artists. When it's going to be like a soft, they just kind of dot it, so you don't have a harsh line to kind of contend with. Like, this is something I'd love to do, and if you guys are interested, I really got to do a live class where, you know, basically you guys come in, it's, you know, 8 to 10 people, and I can see your panels through like a Zoom call. I don't know how many of you guys are interested. I know I've asked it before, and I get some interest in it, and I just haven't really put one together, but I need to. This is something you can do, like a follow along. That has to happen soon. And it's something I want to do a lot more of in the future. I just haven't pulled the trigger. And it was my original plan for all this tech, was to be able to do that. And I'd always thought it'd be great if, you know, if I'm teaching it, I can see what you guys are doing and help correct along the way. So I think the only prerequisite, I'm in Massachusetts, I think the only prerequisite is you'd have to have like a portable webcam, not one that's on your computer screen. That way you could position it to point at your artwork, because I don't really need to see you as the person. I need to see, you know, your artwork and where we are, the steps, and I think that's going to be the only thing you're going to need. September might be looking a little slow, where I might be able to pull something like that off. So if you are interested in that, PM me over on any of my any of my social media channels, whether it's Instagram. I had a... Oh shoot. My computer shut down. My Facebook feed would have killed. I didn't know my computer was off. I went to sleep because I had to unplugged. And the nice thing about my hardware system here is it stays connected via actual internet connection direct. Doesn't actually this feed on YouTube, that's why it's better, doesn't actually go through a computer. It goes directly from my cameras through a program switcher, like a news broadcast, and it goes directly to YouTube with no computers in between. Oh, Brad, that's awesome, man. I'm really looking for, that's going to be, this one's got me personally nervous because it's the first time I've taught Mini live. You know, I've been painting them for years and doing scale model for years, and I've never taught it. So I'm really looking forward to it. And where I just got into Warhammer here like just a year ago, I'm new to the whole scene. So by then I'll be almost in it, back into full time for almost 2 years. But I'm really looking forward to the beginners because I really think that industry is lacking in some good content for how to use an airbrush. There's quite a few guys that have done some good content, but I think as a whole, there's not a lot of resources out there. And I'm going to come at it from an airbrush artist standpoint, who's also does scale modeling, and how to kind of merge those two worlds together. It's kind of how I'm gonna bring, that's how I'm bringing it to that. And so what I did is I got the teeth. Sorry, I see some water. Oh yeah, all the knowledge goes in. It's much smaller scale. And I've been painting them for years. And my biggest learning curve over the past year is getting better with a brush. But I got a few months to figure it out. So if you look real close, you can see the chin of the skull right here. And here's the skin of her chin over here. So I really tried to line everything up. And so the face and the skull really line up nice. And there's your lady. What are your thoughts on the HP SP Plus? I can't seem to keep needles. What do you mean you can't keep needles? They bend easy. I mean, the SBs, and so I'm using the microns, the Takumi, and I have the SB Eclipses. So they are a much smaller needle. So if you're painting with your cap off, you have to be extra, extra gentle with them. If you're not painting without your cap, you shouldn't really be bending them unless you're cleaning them all the time. And most damage happens from taking them in and out of the body. I know over on Airbrush Advice for Beginners by Pros, that channel has been discussion on that lately about over cleaning. It's always a debate. If you drop it, it's done. That doesn't matter which needle it is. But yeah, if you're using that airbrush like right, with the needle off. You gotta be real careful with it. Yeah, I think we're good. Oh, I didn't do the eye. But I love that size brush. So, and it's got to be gentle. And I think I might, at the end, I might bring some hair. So like whisk like hair over her face. Yeah, tip dry. Make sure you just, once your needle has a little bend in it, you get more tip dry is the problem. So you got to keep it really straight and polished. Reduce well. And what's the other tip we all talk about in this group? For good paint, other than reducing properly? I'll let someone else answer that. The 21's great. I still keep the cap off, but you just gotta not touch the surface. Gary's got it. Strain your damn paint. Alright guys, moment of truth. What color am I doing this in? It does. It does reduce tip dry. I've noticed. My allergies are gonna kill me today. Sorry. All right. So, am I gonna do this black and white as it is, or am I gonna add a slight color value to it? And if so, other than green, what are we thinking? And I mean color tone. I'll take the black and I'll add color to it. Purple is always one of my go-tos. Oh my god, yeah. The Voorhees one. It could be cool with the candy overlay, and I can always add that after the fact. Let's see. Let me get the transparent black. Let's see what's spinning. Okay, so I got my transparent black, white, gray if I want to do that route. I got a lot of purples. Let's see. That's fluorescent purple. I want to use that. All right. You know, I like doing red. The problem with red on white is you get a lot of pink. Yes, violet technically is different than purple. Violet, the violet tends to be, I always find it more towards the magenta side. God. Alright, let's see. Color mix. I'm going to slide this back. ran low on bottles. No, allergies been kicking me, and I got just a tickle in my throat. It's been kind of getting me all season. All right, let's do a couple different values here. So I'm going to start with a 1-to-1. These are both transparent. These are the transparent wicked. Yeah, I should run downstairs. Actually, I'm going to text my daughter. All right. So these are transparent. I'm gonna do a 1-to-1 black and purple. And maybe what I'll do is I'll do it in purple, and then I can bring in some shading magenta at the end for the bright. That could be cool. So I'm gonna do a 1-to-1 black to purple. Then I'm going to do like 2 parts purple, 1 part black. Then we'll do like a straight purple. And we'll do a white. Actually, no, I'm going to do opaque white. I got a little magenta. Pop a little in there. Okay. Now we'll do opaque white. Yeah, like a periwinkle would be great. So I'm going to put just a little bit. Damn it. So I'll start mixing these up. Yep, there we go. That's the purple. I think it's going to need a little more magenta. I usually like to mix the color when I'm doing this mix before I add any reducer. And just get them going. So I'll start with like 5%, maybe 10. Definitely get these mixing. Good. So, this is, I know I go through double the cups, but since I got this habit, paint's a lot friendlier. Because like I said, in automotive, we always strain before we spray. You know, I never go from a quart or a gallon and then put it in the gun and shoot it. That's why I do it here. I'm just going to put a fresh screen. Try not to squish it. Cool. That's it. Easy peasy. Aside from dry particles, what straining actually does is it helps the paint. It's kind of like sifting. It will sift it. It's like sifting flour. It'll pull it apart and bring it back together, and you'll just get a smoother product. And sometimes you find out you got a bad thing of paint because you mixed it and had a lot of dry particles in it, and that's never fun. Sift it through. Now, if you're doing candies, I let the candies with the 40-50 mix. I mix that about a minute straight, and I let that kind of do its thing for a couple minutes before I strain it to let it all come together. All right. So yeah, I used Wicked Opaque White, a little bit of Illustration Magenta, Wicked Violet, and Wicked Black. Whoa. Push everything off. Put this off to the side. Let's get this back into play. So if you look close, you can see the image. There you go. I put it a little darker, you can see it a little bit better there. Now, if you're a total freehand guy, you can just freehand from here. But I'm going to bring out some of the key darks first. Get our cutting mat out. Thank you. To the rescue. I'm not going to have that luxury after next week. With my daughter will be going off to Kaylee will be going off to college. And keep it every time. I order from Arizona. Get some screens, some lamp parts. Alright. Let's see. Let's find our nice darks. So what I'm going to do first is get all the darkest blacks cut out. And I'm not going to spray them super black. We're just going to get them roughed in place so we can freehand them. Nah. Also did Dayquil, so I'm going to be up all night now. So if all goes well, I'll be doing a overtime feed. So just go around and pick out, you know, anything that's like really dark. Doesn't have to be everything, but you're gonna get all your major shapes established. And if people get all, well, you stencil it, yeah, I can do it freehand, but I'm not going to be able to teach you very much freehand other than look how cool I can freehand it. I mean, I can go with the order, but the order doesn't really change much. So. You can flip it over and you'll start to see, if you start to see an image. And you can do some of this stuff early on if you want. I've always found it funny, like we talk about stencils. I don't know how many airbrush artists have gotten this. You'll get the, use a stencil. And they kind of like downplay, it's like downplaying your ability because you used one, even though it makes the painting more efficient and better. Especially time-wise. But those same people will go to like New York or a show and there's guys using spray cans and 20 stencils in newspaper to make the same 80s looking space, you know, scene or whatever. You're like, oh wow, did you see how awesomely talented that person is? It's like, wait. All that was stencils only. And I'm not taking away from this. I get the, it's just funny. It's just something I've observed in my time. The same people that will give you grief over using a stencil or a plotter will send you videos of guys on the street using stencils and rattle cans, and they'll be like, look how amazing this guy is. It's like, I got one from, you know, someone older, and they go, you should be doing that. Like, really? I should be doing that. That's what I should be doing. So just going around, getting all those big pieces out. Doesn't look like much on this side yet. The key here is make sure you don't spray any of this stuff super heavy. This is all light work. Just for your, this is for your registration. Hopefully I'm not offending anyone who sent those videos to artists and they're all like, oop, I did that. It's just a funny observation that I've noticed. Has anyone else experienced the same thing? Or had the same thought? Oh, at the same time, tattoo artists. Would you sit down with a tattoo artist that's going to do this big, complex back piece and say, no, man, I don't want you to use a stencil to make that precision painting. I want it all done by hand. Would you? There are freehand, total freehand tattoo artists out there, and I'm not taking it away. But for the most part, you want your tattoo artist to do some placement. I would assume. If it's not made with pie pans, it's crap. Oh my god, that's great. Pie pans. Pie pans in the New York Times. Oh, I just looked at my chart. The red skulls are for 10 months and above. So I missed a few of you guys. Okay. Trying to get this chatting. Mike Manning, thank you for the 20. I was trying to get my soundboard to come back up and it's not coming up, so yay! Thank you. When my computer shut down, my soundboard shut off. Always something. Always something. There's always a 5% error factor. It's like crazy thing. Art, Eddie. I'm not sure who Eddie is. Doesn't use a stencil. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Sometimes things benefit from a crisper edge. So, Okay, so I think it's good, good, good. Just gonna be a nice fold back. So I cut holes where I want it to be fairly solid, and where I'm gonna like just kind of pull things back. I don't connect that all. I let that just be able to be bent. Okay, good. Now let's do the eyes. And again, I also, some of these feeds, I find it's been fun just to do some things in real time. Like, not have anything pre-cut, not have anything pre-mixed, not have everything pre-staged and stenciled and ready. This is real time how I'd be working out in the shop. At this pace, maybe a little slower. For like wrinkles and lines, I just drag the blade a few times and do that. The paint will kind of get through. And like I said, this is kind of what I want to do in those Zoom private classes. Like do a 1-2 hour, couple of things like that. And for these eyebrow areas, I cut as much as I can. Usually just the big areas, and then I'll fill in the rest freehand. It's usually easier. Just get some of the big curls and the big shapes. And just try to get kind of the majority of it, because you're not going to do them all, but you can get a good chunk of it, as you can tell where a lot of it is. I don't know, so I'm going to think of how long they're going to take. So I'll probably do a few different price points, like just some beginner session, couple hour class, you know, it'll probably be done by the hour. Yeah, so it might be like, you know, $15, $20 per hour class or something like that, or it might be, you know, it might be like a $50 class or $100 class, and we'll do 3 sessions. I just got to figure out the timing and how many students. So, you know, I think I want to do it no more than 8 to 10 students. And then with that model, with enough people in the room, I can afford to do, you know, a couple hour class, no problem. Like I did one, like a drawing one. It was just like a 1 hour class, and it was like another hour of open discussion of just basic drawing. And I did that on one, and they were like, I think they were charging $15 per session, and I thought that was kind of cool. Cool, I think I got most of everything I need for now. Where the majority of stuff is. Now what I'm going to do, this is a trick I learned a long time ago from Corey St. Clair. When you're doing like bone texture, skin texture, obviously there's a bunch of stencils we can use, and we will, but you can just take your blade and just pick through and get some nice texture placement. Alright, Oh, you know what I didn't draw? I'll do that when I go back in here. The hand. Warlock, what's happening? Oof. Alright, so let's try to get you back up into position. Find a couple points of registration. This is the time you want to take a little bit. Your first one, you want to make sure you're nice and lined up, so you don't have pencil lines like outside of your shapes. Drop that on the floor. Yeah, 46 you need here tonight. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. I will not be on next week, so maybe I'll try to do the continuation of this if I go into part 2, which I probably will. Maybe earlier in the week, because my daughter Gailey's going to college on a week from tomorrow, so we got a lot to get done. And I want to spend next week doing some time with her and making sure we got everything going. So next week's going to be a little bit of a short week. Oh, before I do, want to get this, the tattoo on her finger drawn in. If anyone recognized the model I used, because I can't remember so long ago, I don't have the original picture of who it was. I know it was not Angelina Jolie. So I usually try to credit that. As far as I know, he's just tattooing. Last time I talked to him, but I think he's been doing. Skyway isn't a bad idea. Well, my thought was I would do the 8 to 10 in private. And then release it. You know, or maybe I'll have different tiers, you know, so the members can watch, but they don't have to participate, and the ones who want to do the class and be seen, you know, my thing is I don't know if someone wants to be seen on YouTube for everyone to see, you know what I mean, if it's like them learning. So for what I might just do is I'll do the class for the 8 people, and I'll record it, but I won't record my cameras and let my cameras go out afterwards. There's ways to do it. But that's a good idea. Alright. So the colors. Remember I mixed the dark color and then the lighter color. But you know, the 1-to-1. I did the 1-to-1 and then I did the more purple. So I'm going to start with the more purple, because then I can freehand in the black later. And the key here, you know what? I'm going to go back on that, because this goes pretty purple. I'm going to do the darker one first. I think. Oh. Let me bring, let's do this. I have a smaller photo reference right there. We can bring in. How about that? How's that work? How about them apples? Or we can go 3/4 view. Okay, so now you can see, so here where it's darker, you know, I can afford to go pretty dark. I'm not going to go crazy because I don't want super hard edges to deal with. So I still want it soft. And if I want it darker, I can always hammer it a little harder, you know, freehand. But these are pretty much dark shapes. But if you look here, this is soft on the edge, so I don't want to put it super hard right here. So I'm going to spray towards the center. So the center's dark, but I'll let the overspray. What I'm going to do, let me brighten this back up. See what I'm doing? I'm letting the overspray get to the edge, but I'm putting the paint more towards the center. Okay? So I'll get a crisp edge, but it won't be super hard. Same thing down here, where it softens up this way. I'm going to go hard down here, and just let the overspray get over that edge. And that's going to allow me to blend that out later. Same thing with like this area. You can tell it's a little lighter up here. And here it's pretty dark. Remember this rule, and I say it all the time. It's a lot easier to add more paint than it is to take it away. For the nose, same thing. You don't want to be putting your paint down here because you're going to get a hard edge. If you look at the reference, it's harder at the top, softer on the bottom. So same thing, just keep your paint up here. The overspray will soften and get down the edge. And since we're going to be doing a lot of like freehand up here in the eye, just register its placement, because we can come back, you know, later with all these like freehand eyelashes like this. We don't need to do it now. We're just trying to get its placement. And that is the pupil. And might as well notate. I'm using the eraser where that highlight is right now. Everything's soft here. See, now this, now look, because I didn't cut it all the way through, I can bring this eye open like this. See, if I can fold it back, and I can just hit right there. Same thing here. I can just kind of fold this down. We'll just rip it out carefully. Where that's going to be. What's happening? Welcome, go for it. So see, just by doing these little folds, now I have like the eye placement a lot nicer where everything is. Even this I can probably just rip that out like this. You know what I want to do? I think it'd be cool right now just to make that nail bright. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? And then I'm going to make the pupil this color. So it's a bright purple. Just at the start. And that'll make, it'll start to get a little bit of a pop. And now I can kind of do this on the edge. So what I need to do is I need to take one of these other ones. This is why you always print multiple. Yeah, I got to get the classes scheduled. That's really been on my mind. And I'm also going to be able to cut custom stencils for the classes. So in the future, I might do is you'll basically, you can order it ahead of time. You'll have a stencil for the class ready to go. So I'm trying to work that into. So I'm just going to cut this finger separate so I have it. So I know I'm going to use it quite a bit. Because now what I can do is I can lift this up. Ugh. Alright, now I can take this one and hold it in place. Now that should be better. And just go by the photo, and it gets blurry back there. Now I can pull this. Just kiss it, just a little bit. Barely anything. Alright, let's see. I'll fold that back. Do a little crack, get that little bit there. Now let's see. It might be a good piece. See, but that's now enough to get your bearings more and more. And like I can see it easier here because I can see the rest of the image. And this is where you decide how much you want to hack apart this piece. Which I'm going to hack it up pretty good. And just keep going back and forth. So let's kind of set the jawline. So I can get that in. So I can take these top teeth kind of out. Okay, so now I should be able. Oh, that comes here. That goes here. You start saving pieces as you go and get all your registration. Not too much. And again, paint more on the stencil than off. And this I'm just going to kiss with a little bit, because in here is going to be a lot of fine erasing for the subtlety of the lips. But I'm just, again, trying to get placement for everything. And for these lips, I'm just going to cut down to here. We'll save this. Save us, save your big pieces. You may be able to bring them back in, you may not. What I'm trying to do here is I'm going to up this nose a little bit more than it is in the reference. And then I can put just a little bit of where the lips come up to. See how subtle that is? How just little paint. And you can actually kind of just move it a little bit so it's soft. Now I know there's a tooth right there. I know this lip is going to come in here now. It's going to be darker in here. And a little darker towards the bottom so I can kind of put that coarse shadow in. And this whole first, we're at an hour and a half from a dead start. Actually, we got started late, so we're only an hour and 10 minutes from bare metal to starting. And we have a good base done to work from. So I'm still going to do some more. But you start saving all your pieces. They all go back together. Now I want to look at this one here. What can I cut out of here? So I can utilize... So it's usually more intuitive that inside the jaw is darker, but because this is seeing skin, it's lighter, because it's kind of a makeup design, so we'll actually go on the other way. So you can look at the photo, and here's kind of lighter, because that's her natural skin here. Michael Cohen, thank you, sir. My soundboard's still off. My cough's gone, though. Look at that. NyQuil's the best. We need them as a sponsor. So now that kind of separates that out. Cut as you go. So I can cut this tooth. If we want, go right to it. Hit it. And hit the next one. So you have those registered in. Oh, seriously, thank you, Michael. Those super chats really help. Because I know every week someone can't bid $200-300 on a painting. But every now and again, a couple of people put in $5, $10, $5, $10, $10. You'd be surprised at the end of the month. That really adds up big for me. It helps a lot to keep this shindig going. Let's see what else we got here. The lower goes. here. And these are just fun to do. Skulls are always fun to do. That's what I asked. So you get bored painting skulls? No, man, they're fun. Why do you get bored? I know sometimes if you're not into skulls, you get sick of seeing them all the time, but they're just so much fun to paint. It's just so good for making money. Really are. No, I don't. Man, I don't know who she is. I think she. If I want to remember, I think it was like a Victoria's Secret model. Had really big eyes, like really just. And I remember saving the picture, but it was. I mean, like I said, I did this composite years ago. I made this up. I have a whole file of ideas where I just sit down, I see something, I think of it, I'm like, oh, let me get this out of my head, and I kind of put it together in the computer, and then I just leave it. So now, oh, you know what? I try to get as much of this registration before, because what I'm going to do in a sec is I'm going to thin the paint and really start getting into all this little stuff. And here we'll start doing some erasing. A lot of times I try to knock out the difficult stuff first, like I get the eye done. And it's kind of a personal thing, if I can get the eye done. Yes, that's the 4021. I've been using it the whole time. It's all I've used since I got it, and I am digging it. I am noticing it's very similar when I'm spraying with House of Color. I'm getting that same kind of feel, which is where I want it to be. That's where I like it to be, as close to a solvent as possible. And I don't want it to smell like a solvent. I want it to flow like... I can always overdo solvents to get them to go like super silky smooth, and every time Creatix comes with a reducer, they get closer and closer to that, and that's what's awesome. This is so just there. If I was putting like House Color reducer as the 10, I would put this at a 992. It's right there. You know what I mean? It's right where it needs to be. There can maybe be a little bit, or I'm just being picky. You know? So. I really dig this stuff. You know, still the only thing I have not run a test through yet, which if it runs that well, which I believe it will, is I haven't run it as a candy, because I haven't done anything with a candy since I got it. So that's the only paint I've yet to test, and if it runs as good, whoa, oh, that sucks. I got paint on my stencil, and I got paint there, so I'm gonna have to fix that. Right when I do that, just need to get that into position. I know where that is. Let's see how that cleans up. which this is going to be a lot of texture down here, so it's not a bad place for this to happen. What I like is this stuff still erases well. But it's not super delicate like the illustration. Like it erases well without being clunky, but I'm not risking like... What I liked about the illustration is it stayed erasable, but sometimes it was almost too soft for a while, like until it settled in. You gotta be really careful, like brushing over, because you could scratch it really easy. But this stuff now, the way it is, it's just, it just works. And now I'm gonna see. I don't have her full sheet anymore, so I gotta cut a new one. Make sure there's no paint back there. I think this would be good. Yeah, because HD stencil. Yeah, those are kind of cool. I've never worked with one. I've seen them used. They're cool because they kind of have all the stuff, all the shading built in. But I don't know if I like to deal with all the dot matrix, you know, blending and hiding. But they are cool. Mike Gillette, what's happening? So, cool. So I think I can retire. I'm going to retire half, a bunch of this paint. And the HD stencils are cool, but the cost of having a custom one done versus I'm just going to do it this way, for me, I wouldn't probably bother unless I knew something I was going to be painting a bunch of times. Like if I had to paint this, if I was going to be doing like a whole production run, like how Steve Gibson's right now, he's doing all those, all the Frank Frazetta gas tanks, like over and over with different variants. He's going to have a line, he's going to have a whole bunch of stencil lineups where you can get, you know, the bulk of it in. He may not, I'm not saying he does, but for me, I'd have like a whole bunch of things already kind of rocking and rolling. So at this point, I usually want to go, you know, pretty thin with the paint. Sometimes I'll drop the air pressure down. And yeah, there are a lot of mics here. Oh, while that's doing its thing, I also need let's get the pupil up in there. Unless you have a phobia against Michaels, then, you know, that could be a problem. I'm sure some millennial kid somewhere has some Michael phobia. There's a phobia for everything. Okay, so now I can get this. Yeah, that's cool. That way the eye and the makeup, that kind of works. Speak to the mic. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Checking if all the mics are alright. Cool. No, I don't wish I was Mike. Sorry. Love you all, but no. I want to actually bring this down a little lower. I want to focus on the eye for a little bit. So it's a little bit closer. We'll zoom down. How about that? Cool. So now, this is where you start having fun. So this is where I start having fun with everything, because we start bringing the freehand in. This wrinkle in the eyelid. I'll put that first, because I know it's right here. So it's underneath what I do for eyelashes. Honey, you're the best. My soundboard's messed up, so yay! Ching ching ching. I gotta do the soundboards myself. Start bringing the shading down into here. This is part of the inside of the eye socket. I'm going to make that darker just because I want it to be a little bit more pronounced than it is. I forgot about my soundboard. I had it at the start, but when my computer shut down, they won't sync back up with my Stream Deck. So. So obviously it still looks, you know, rough in texture, but the key is to you start smoothing it out along the way. Let's see, we have really fine texture stencil. So right under this eye, I want, there's a lot of little dots in texture. Perfect for just to get a little skin texture in here. Gerald Mendez details. We'll do a little up here as well. And we'll do a little bit of erasing, then back and forth in here, and that's right. So it's definitely, it needs to get darker, a lot darker over here. That's more the inside of the skull. It's right there. And now we gotta get that bright. We can just do some light tapping here. I'm just going to bump it a little bit. Definitely getting there. Just need that smokier edge on the eye. But look at these little razor lines I'm getting, like no problem. Really nice blend. So I think that's a pretty decent start for an hour and a half. I'll try to do an early week feed because, like I said, I will not be on next Thursday or Friday because we're going to be moving Kaylee into college. But I would like to get on at some point next week, so keep an eye on the channel and the community tab here, and I will put up a post before I get on. Or if I get, antsy by Sunday, maybe I'll do it this week. I need to close this eye up right here. It's a lot darker right here before I... I gotta brighten it up in here a little bit, then darken up some more of this and these eyebrows here. He's getting a little thicker. Cool. What do we think? Tricksters, are we good with this as a starting project? I think that's been fun. I think it's working. Well, you know what I'm going to do, because it worked so well last time. I'm going to get my little paint by numbers stuff. I'm going to save these colors so I don't have to do it again. If I do, I can refer back to the video. Get my little cups. Go on to Amazon, order yourself a sleeve of these little guys. These are great. These are awesome. So I will say 40-20. Working really good, guys. Really digging it. So this could be cool if I do this for SEMA and do like a purple theme, purple magenta theme, lowrider graphic with some gold and silver leaf, maybe some spinning and some striping around it. That'd be a pretty cool project, I think. That might be how this ends up. But yeah, so if you're gonna finish up and you're not gonna be paying for a couple days, you're sure of it, get yourself some of these. They work really well. These are still usable from when I did the Rhino. They probably get a little thick now, but it's been weeks, so I'd call that a win. So I'm going to save these. Open them up. And the nice thing is these are already mixed, they're strained, we know they're working. I want to go with my dark colors. Oh. I'll get 3 darks. And I didn't even use it, so I'm not even going to bother saving this white. I'll just mix it up because I never used any of it. I'll just worry about that next time. And there we go. Now it's saved for next time. Alright. But yeah, that's where we're ending up for the night. I think that's looking pretty cool. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied. Bruce, how's it going, man? Sorry, we are just about to cut off. It's been a great feed. You can definitely watch it on the replay. And we're going to be coming back early one day next week, and we'll finish this up. And go from there. So I want to thank everyone for joining me. Sorry for the little bit of the delay in the beginning, but we got going after about 10-11 minutes. And I think the project came out pretty good for an hour and 40 minutes or so. So thank you for all popping in. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you to all the members. Really appreciate it. It's been over a year. You guys are rock. We'll keep sharing it. Keep telling people about it. And we'll keep growing this channel together. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend, everyone. Peace.